OxyShred comes in 3 main versions in North America: non-stim, hardcore, and ultra concentrated. I've laid out the ingredient differences between all 3 in a comparison chart where ingredients are listed alphabetically. Green highlights show ingredients that are shared across formulas, while red boxes mark what's missing. In this review, we're zooming in specifically on OxyShred Hardcore and asking, do these ingredients actually work for weight and fat loss? Acetyl L-carnitine and L-carnitine are often talked about as if they're interchangeable, but they're not. L-carnitine is an amino acid found naturally in red meat and plays a role in energy production and fat metabolism in muscle. It's been studied for improving exercise capacity and in some cases has shown small reductions in body weight. Acetyl L-carnitine is a modified version that appears to be better absorbed by the nervous system and more active in the brain. Because of this, most of its research focuses on its benefits to nerve health, cognition, and conditions like neuropathy. For exercise, acetyl L-carnitine may help nerve-related symptoms during activity, but it does not appear to meaningfully boost metabolism or exercise performance the way L-carnitine can. By the way, I review a lot of supplements here, so subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated, and support me on Ko-fi if you enjoy the content. Bitter orange extract entered the supplement world after ephedra was banned in North America due to serious heart health concerns. The industry needed a new stimulant that could be sold as natural, and bitter orange quickly became a popular replacement. Its active compound synephrine is structurally similar to ephedrine and stimulates the sympathetic nervous system. This can theoretically increase thermogenesis, often marketed as fat burning, and cause side effects comparable to phenylephrine, a common decongestant known to raise heart rate and blood pressure. While short-term use may carry limited risk, weight loss supplements are often taken for months, which increases the chance of side effects. The real issue with bitter orange extracts, though, is effectiveness. Clinical studies consistently show that synephrine raises heart rate and blood pressure, but does not produce meaningful weight loss. It doesn't even appear to improve exercise performance, with studies showing no benefit for sprinting or jumping ability. Health Canada has issued warnings and eventually banned synephrine-containing weight control products. Even where it remains legal in the US, bitter orange extract has failed to deliver on its promise as a safe or effective alternative to ephedra. Caffeine is a familiar and well-studied ingredient. OxyShred Hardcore gets its caffeine not just from pure caffeine, but also from guarana and green coffee bean extracts, essentially multiple sources of the same stimulant. Functionally, this isn't much different from just taking straight caffeine, aside from the marketing appeal of calling it natural. Research shows caffeine can provide small benefits for weight or fat loss, but most of its real value comes from improving exercise performance and alertness. If caffeine helps you train harder or longer, that can indirectly support weight loss. Without exercise, however, the effect is likely small. 1 scoop of OxyShred Hardcore contains about 275 milligrams of caffeine, roughly the same as drinking 3 cups of coffee, which is a fairly high dose for many people. Chromium is often advertised as a blood sugar balancing mineral that supports weight loss. In people with insulin resistance, such as those with diabetes or PCOS, chromium can slightly lower HbA1c and may lead to a small weight loss of about half a kilo to 1 kilo over 3 to 4 months. That's a small effect, and it's largely limited to those specific populations. In people without insulin resistance, studies consistently show that chromium does little to nothing for weight loss. Conjugated linoleic acid, or CLA, is a modified fatty acid derived from linoleic acid. Research suggests that CLA may slightly improve fat loss, but the effect is small, with the average weight loss only about 2 to 3 pounds over 6 to 12 months. That's not very impressive. In most people in real life, this doesn't actually translate into meaningful changes on the scale. On top of that, effective doses of CLA are typically measured in grams, and OxyShred Hardcore simply doesn't provide enough to reach those levels, making it unlikely to have any real impact. Evodiamine is unique to OxyShred Hardcore and doesn't appear in the other OxyShred formulas. It's extracted from Evodia fruits and is often compared to capsaicin, the compound that gives chili peppers their heat. Both activate TRPV1 receptors, which are involved in sensing heat and spiciness in the body. The theory is that activating these receptors might increase fat burning. Unfortunately, research doesn't back this up. Studies show that activating TRPV1 receptors, whether through capsaicin or similar compounds, does not significantly reduce body weight, body fat, or BMI compared to placebo. Green coffee bean extracts come from regular coffee beans that simply haven't been roasted yet. Because of this, they're higher in a compound called chlorogenic acid, which is often credited with helping with fat metabolism. The catch is that most of the proposed benefits come from animal studies, mainly in mice, and we don't know if humans respond the same way. A few small human studies suggest green coffee bean extract may lead to slight weight loss, but these extracts also contain caffeine, which already has mild weight loss effects on its own. That makes it hard to know whether chlorogenic acid is doing much at all. On top of that, studies that do show any benefit typically use over 500 milligrams per day of chlorogenic acid, far more than what's found in OxyShred formulas. Huperzine A is an extract from plants like Chinese club moss and works by blocking an enzyme that breaks down acetylcholine, a brain chemical involved in memory and attention. By doing this, it increases acetylcholine levels in the brain. In people with Alzheimer's disease, this mechanism has shown some promise, with modest improvements in memory and cognitive function. However, in healthy adults without cognitive impairment, Huperzine A doesn't seem to offer much benefit at all. In short, unless someone has a neurological condition, acetylcholinesterase inhibitors like Huperzine A are unlikely to noticeably improve focus or brain performance. Inulin is a type of prebiotic fiber, usually extracted from chicory root, that helps nourish the good bacteria in your gut. In people with pre-diabetes, research shows that taking inulin every day for several weeks can lead to a small amount of weight loss. That sounds promising until you look at the dose. Most studies use around 30 grams per day, which is a very large amount. These fibers work by adding bulk in the stomach and helping blunt blood sugar spikes after meals, and they're meant to be taken in sizable servings, often mixed into food or drinks. The tiny amounts found in pill-based supplements like OxyShred are nowhere near enough to deliver those benefits. L-Glutamine is an amino acid often added to supplements with the hope that it will boost athletic performance or promote weight loss. Unfortunately, research doesn't support either claim. Studies in athletes show that glutamine does not improve exercise performance, strength, or endurance. A small clinical study in overweight and obese adults also found that glutamine supplementation did not improve body weight or body mass index. L-Tyrosine is another amino acid commonly included in workout or fat loss supplements. Like glutamine, it does not appear to improve strength, endurance, or overall exercise performance when compared to placebo. Tyrosine may help with focus and mental performance during stressful situations, such as intense exercise or cold exposure. Even then, the doses used in research are typically several grams per day, far higher than what any OxyShred product provides, making it unlikely to have a noticeable effect. Raspberry ketones were once hugely popular, especially after being promoted on the Dr. Oz show as a powerful fat burner. That popularity didn't last, and for good reason. They didn't work. The early excitement came from lab and animal studies showing that raspberry ketones might help release fat from fat cells in mice. There were never any solid human trials showing real weight loss benefits. As people tried them and saw no results, interest faded quickly. So while raspberry ketones may help mice lose fat in a lab, they've never been shown to do the same for people. Taurine is a naturally occurring amino acid found in foods like meat, eggs, and seafood. It's often included in performance supplements, but the research is mixed. Some studies show no improvement in endurance performance, even with higher doses taken over several days. Other larger reviews suggest that short-term supplementation, around 1 to 6 grams per day, may offer a small endurance benefit for some individuals. Even so, it's unclear who benefits most, and the effects are modest at best. So is OxyShred Hardcore effective? At its core, OxyShred Hardcore is essentially a more heavily caffeinated version of OxyShred Ultra Concentrated, mainly achieved by adding guarana extracts. It also includes Evodiamine to make it feel more stimulating, but research shows this ingredient doesn't meaningfully help with weight or fat loss. Some ingredients were removed, including Garcinia cambogia, while others were added, most notably L-carnitine, which at least has some evidence behind it. Still, the formula relies heavily on caffeine to do most of the work. In practice, OxyShred Hardcore will increase energy because it contains a fairly high dose of caffeine. But when it comes to actual weight loss, caffeine is again the main driver. Many of the other ingredients sound impressive but simply don't deliver. Bitter orange extract, Evodiamine, and raspberry ketones, for example, have all shown to be ineffective. Other ingredients like green coffee extract, CLA, and L-carnitine might help slightly in theory, but are likely included at doses too low to matter. Ingredients meant to support exercise, such as acetyl L-carnitine, taurine, and B vitamins, either don't significantly improve performance or don't help at all. The use of proprietary blends, which hide exact ingredient doses, also makes it difficult to judge what you're actually taking. OxyShred Hardcore costs around $45 per month at 1 scoop per day. If the goal is to replicate the most impactful effects, you could simply combine caffeine, L-carnitine, and taurine on your own. Caffeine would cost less than $1 per month, while L-carnitine and taurine would run about $3 to $5 each. Together, that's $7 to $11 per month for a similar result. Rating OxyShred Hardcore by effectiveness for weight loss, I'm giving it a C. It's roughly as effective as drinking a few cups of coffee, especially if you're already exercising. Rated by cost, I'm giving it a C. The useful ingredients can be purchased much more cheaply on their own. Rating it for safety, I'm giving it a C. The caffeine dose is fairly high and may cause issues for sensitive individuals, and some ingredients like bitter orange can interact with medications. Overall rating, I'm giving a C. I wouldn't recommend it for most people, but if you're looking for a caffeinated pre-workout drink with a weight loss theme, it's likely no better or worse than other high caffeine supplements like Hydroxycut, just in a more drinkable and better tasting format. Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Young. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to share them in the comments down below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And if you know someone who could benefit from this, please share it with them. Finally, if you enjoy what we do and want to learn more, consider supporting us on Ko-fi, and be sure to check out our other socials as well.